everyone, Father Jared coming to you. As you may have heard this weekend about the big news, exciting news announcement this weekend of the Mass times changing here at Holy Angels. So that change will be, when will that change take place? It will take place Memorial Day weekend. So Mass times will be the same for right now until Memorial Day. And then on Memorial Day, what will the Mass times change to? They will change to on Saturday, we'll move the 5:30 vigil back to 4:30, and that means that confessions will be from 3 to 4 instead of 4 to 5, since obviously, so we'll have confession 3 to 4, 4:30 p.m. vigil mass on Saturday, and then our Sunday mass schedule will be, there'll be 3 masses instead of 4 now, so it'll be 7:30 a.m., 9:15 a.m., and 11 a.m. So those will be 3 mass times on Sunday. And now we get to the reason why I'm making this video is the why, because people may be wondering, why are we making the change? Why do we have to make this change? And the answer is, there's a couple of different reasons. I think the big one for me, so I'll highlight that one first, is community, or communing with one another, friendships among our parishioners. So, with the amount of time, an hour and a half in between masses, it oftentimes feels to me like I'm rushing, and I think people feel rushed to get out of the parking lot, so that way people coming to the next mass can get into the parking lot, and so people don't really stay around all that much to talk. And like whenever I do stay around to talk, then it feels like I got to rush immediately either into the confessional to hear confessions during mass, or I've got to get ready for the next mass, get set up for all of that. So this gives us more time for community, just in that everyday sense, but also something that we'll begin doing whenever this mass time change takes place, is that we will begin once a month, usually on the 4th Sunday, or the last Sunday of each month, the last Sunday of each month, we will have Donut Sunday. So at the 4:30 Mass, we probably won't have donuts, but we'll just have some coffee and punch on the way out to the parking lot. And then on all the other Sundays, what we'll do is we'll have, then on the Sunday Masses, we'll have coffee and donuts in the cafeteria in the school. So this gives us an opportunity as a community to build friendships, relationships with another, families get to know each other. And then also with more time in between mass, I can actually be there. Father Hest can be there, whoever the next vicar is, can be there. And then also with fewer masses, and more ideal mass times, there will be fuller masses. And the fuller mass are the sense of communion, the sense of community, the sense that we're actually part of something bigger than ourselves, part of the mystical body of Christ. That sense grows. And so I think with fewer masses, with cutting down to 3 instead of 4 on Sunday, that will allow us more time to communicate, to build relationships, and also that will ultimately build for us that stronger sense of community. And I talked to a priest in Indiana who's doing great things out there, and he commented that every time he's trimmed his mass schedule, his mass attendance actually gone up. And I asked him, why is that? And he said, well, I've asked people that, and they say it's kind of the effect of, if you go to an empty restaurant, the feeling is, well, what's wrong with this place? What's going on? Why is no one here? However, you go to a restaurant and you've got to wait a little bit, and it's full, you think to yourself, well, there must be something good. They must be doing something right. So I think that fuller mass sense will help to build that, and people actually feel welcome because they feel like they just kind of fit right in. Whereas whenever mass is empty, you kind of feel like you stick out, almost like you don't belong. But instead, whenever it's fuller, it feels as though you belong. And then the second reason that we are going to be making this change is also just has to do with kind of a volunteer standpoint, from the standpoint of just basically the 5:30 Mass. It's really hard to get people to commit to be ushers, servers especially, but all the ministries involved at Mass can be really difficult to nail down and to commit. And at the noon Mass, same problem. Ushers and servers can be real hard to pin down, which makes sense because, 5:30 is a little bit later than what most families would like to go, because they would like to get home for dinner, go out to do something. And so the 4:30 Mass time makes it more convenient for our parishioners, makes it more convenient for families, but then also those, especially during the winter, who cannot drive at night. And then that noon Mass, again, by moving those Mass times on Sunday and taking one of those away, we then can make more convenient times, which means we will have more volunteers, so more lectors, more Eucharistic ministers, extraordinary ministers of Holy Communion, more ushers, and more servers per Mass, which then means that, many hands make light work for the Lord. So we'll actually have the opportunity to, people will have an opportunity to actually sit with their family more often, those who serve or those who read, or all those kind of different ministries that people do at Mass. And so that'll give a greater space for them and more hands making light work for everyone. So that way no one feels like they're every single week doing the same job because we can't find anybody. So that's another reason. And then also, I think this new Mass schedule provides a segue for us to invite new parishioners back. Because with changing the Mass times, we're going to be doing all kinds of things, like, to kind of make that people aware of that. So, along with like the signs on the door announcing that Mass, but we're also going to be like the billboards, the electronic billboards here in Sydney. We'll be putting the Mass times up on that. We're going to get yard signs, so that way all of you can help us get the word out to put in people's yards. We're going to put big old vinyl signs on the fence on the parking lot, the fence in front of the playground, and then also the fence in front of the office there. And so that will give us some good exposure there. But then also it's an invitation for me to invite you to invite those people back, to invite those people who have not been coming to Mass either since before COVID or maybe for longer than that. And then ultimately with the new Mass time, since we're getting this word out, putting a joyful tone on this, that this change is a good thing, that pruning allows us to experience new growth, we can get that word out and we can invite our neighbors, our friends, our families back to the holy sacrifice of the Mass. And so there's actually an opportunity here for us to grow. And I want to make that very, very clear. This is not a sign of death, but instead a sign that we are finally focusing on what's most important. Because the Mass is a central part of our faith. This is the source and summit. And so now that we'll be able to focus more fully as a community, we will begin to have that experience that we want to invite people back. We'll be able to have that experience that this is a place we want to be, and so we want other people, those we love, to also be there. And then finally, and this one is obviously not the most important, but I do want to highlight this because, it is like a rather long Sunday for Father Hess and myself. We have 2 Masses and we got to hear confessions during 2 Masses. We don't get it done until after 1 o'clock on a Sunday. We start before 7:30 and we go until 1 o'clock. And at that point, we have like youth group in the evening, we have other things that are going on. I'm not always real into it and I haven't actually gone to youth group all that much this year because I'm exhausted at that point. It's just been a long day. So this kind of putting this new Mass schedule in place allows myself, Father Hess, any priest that we'll have in the future, allows them to have a greater amount of rest in between Masses, but then also gives them the opportunity to participate in the parish's life, like I mentioned with community, for us to be present at those things, but then even to be present at things that we may have going on the rest of the day here on Sundays at Holy Angels. And so I want to make just abundantly clear that this is a good thing. I'm excited about this. I've talked to a lot of people who are excited about this. Whenever I was kind of pitching this to some different people, I was shocked at how many people were excited at this prospect. Maybe you've been thinking about that for years. And so I think what now begins to happen is that we realize that change is not a bad thing. Change is an opportunity. I understand it's going to be tough for some people. I want to let you know that I really did feel that. I took that into account. And I just know that it is a real thing. I'm not just telling you to buck up, suck it up. But I want you to know that I'm doing this with the mind of the entire parish, or with the entire parish in mind. Not with the mind of the entire parish, with the entire parish in mind. That ultimately, I think this gives us an opportunity to expand. to get more people to Mass, to get more people involved, to get more people just kind of to see Holy Angels as home. And so I just want all of you to know that that's why we're doing this, that's why I'm doing this, and this is why it's going to be a good thing. So let us, with all of our effort, strive to see the good that the Lord wants to do here at Holy Angels, see the good that he's already doing, but then also to see the good that he wants to do in the things that we are striving to change, to better, and to ultimately make in conformity with God's will himself. So again, effective Memorial Day weekend, we will have a Mass time change at Holy Angels. So on Saturdays, we will have Mass at 4:30 p.m., confessions from 3 to 4 that day. And on Sundays, we will have Mass at 7:30 a.m., 9:15 a.m., and 11 a.m. And again, with all thanksgiving, with great gratitude to the understanding so many of you have showed, and not only understanding, but with great rejoicing, with joy, and with a great amount of trust in me and in the Lord. I just want to thank you for all that you do for Holy Angels, the trust that you put in the Lord, and have a blessed week, and may God bless you.